Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Extra podcast. This is episode 30. We can't believe we made it, just like 8 months. Episode 30, feels like a lot, but also doesn't feel like as many as some of the others, but they do
Yeah,
multiple episodes a week. So I don't feel bad. No, it's great. Glad to be back. Even though we're recording right after the Champions League game, I'm still glad to be here with you, Simi. As
thank you, man.
always, my co-host. How you doing?
Disappointed, man. Disappointed. Just got home from watching that game. I'm not gonna lie. I went out of my way to watch it with some friends at a bar. Yeah, it's just frustrating, but we'll get into it, I'm sure. I hope you're well yourself, even though, it's a rough night.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm doing all right. If I sound, maybe quiet or like I've got some stuffiness in my face, it's because I do trying to recover, trying to fight something off so that it doesn't quite get me. Um, so yeah, but of course we're gonna go over the games from the past week, and then we've got a lot of transfer news, some ups and downs, I guess, maybe mainly in true Inter fashion, just straight confusion. But
As per
of course,
usual.
before we get to that, Simi, if you can let the people know where to find us and what they should be doing before we get on with the episode.
Yeah, guys, as per usual, you guys know the drill. If you're on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe. There's this new thing called hype, apparently, as well. Make sure you hype up the video. Um, yeah, leave us any comments you wanna, any guests you wanna see, maybe any improvements, any opinions you have about whatever we talk about, of course. And yeah, make sure you share the podcast if you are listening on any of the platforms. Make sure you give us a 5-star rating. And yeah, if you're not already following us on Instagram and Twitter, make sure you follow us at inter_extra on both. And yeah, that's the usual. You guys already know what to do. Sean, if you want to give us a rundown of the games that we've had in the past 5 days.
Yeah, the last 5 days. Yeah, sounds a little weird, but yeah, it's only been five
It
days since
does.
we recorded,
Yeah.
which is but we had enough games in that time frame, so it's
Mm-hmm.
good. No, we've had mixed results throughout all of our teams. So last week we mentioned right at the end of the episode that the women's team was back in action this weekend after their winter break. And there's only one great way to start your second half of the season, your post winter break, by beating Juventus 2-1 in the Derby d'Italia. Um, yeah, it was awesome. I believe it was a come from behind win. So Juve went up first. Um, and yeah, two goals completely unanswered by Juve to get 3 points and puts the women's team really in a good position to do their top half tournament once the regular season ends, which is kind of how their table works. So they
Yeah.
only have 12 teams, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 12 teams, and then yeah, Champions League spot right now. And then I believe it's the top six go on to a like postseason table. And so they do another round robin of
So it's
those
like
games
like the
to see.
Belgian league has like this a similar
Yeah,
or like the Austrian league has a similar split, and then top six and then bottom six do their own thing, kind of.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So for those that didn't know what the women's league, how it was set up, but they've been doing that for a couple years. So, yeah, 10 games, 18 points. Roma is 7 points ahead of Inter's women's team in second. Um, but that's to be expected because that Roma team wins the league just about every year. They are by
They're
far the
incredible. Yeah,
best
they're really
team
good.
in Italy. Yeah. So, yeah, great way to come back. So I'm really happy for the women's team. Saw that you guys quote tweeted the women's result. I wish Inter did better highlighting their women's team so that y'all could retweet some more stuff. But yeah, it was really
Yeah,
good.
definitely.
Moving on to our Primavera squad. They actually played earlier this morning. Didn't realize it. Didn't add it to our list of games last week. Um, but they also had a Derby d'Italia on the weekend. It was a 2-0 loss, conditioned by a red card. um, two late end of the half goals. So a 45 plus one, so 46th minute at the end of the half, the first half goal, and then a 90th plus 3 minute goal for Juventus. So probably a little bit tighter than it actually seems.
Yeah.
But yeah, the red card I don't think helped the squad. Um, and then today, this morning, again, playing Monza, they lost. Well, no, sorry, wasn't a 2-0 loss. It was a 3-2 loss today. So a
Oh,
5 goal thriller. Um, but yeah, early goal by Monza.
do you know who scored
Idrisu
for us? Oh,
equalized.
Idrisu. Okay.
Idrisu and Bovio, but it was an
Okay.
Idrisu equalizer, 1-1. And then I think, let me see um, this kid's name real quick. Francesco Reta scored a brace, an early second half brace in the first 10 minutes of the second half.
Okay.
And then Bovio scored our second to make it 3-2 and just couldn't get the third to end in a draw. So two losses by them. Again, they're still in a good spot. They're going to make it to the postseason portion of their season as well. It just won't be seeded as well as they have been the last couple seasons.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know if
You know
you've
what we
caught
can
those
do?
those
What we
highlights.
can do is we can swap the under 23 games to because I usually manage to watch them. If you want, I can take over those games. Because I don't think you watched the under 20. Well, you did say you watched the under 23 highlights, but still, if you want, I can take over that section for you because I usually try and keep up more with them. Um,
Yeah, you can, of course.
yeah,
Yeah, the
the game on
they
Sunday
had a.
at
I'll just say
5:30
the
exactly.
score, and yeah, and you can
Yeah,
go
go
in
ahead.
what you see. I just can't watch it over here in the
Yeah,
states.
exactly.
I don't have yeah, the television to do that. So, but yeah, just a 1-0 win against Virtus Verona, so that's 6 points against them this season. But yeah, take it away.
Yeah, so it was actually a crazy end to the first half, which is when the goal fell as well. So it was in the 45 plus 10 minute, if that's how you want to say it. So
Wow.
55th minute theoretically, right? And it was so Inter were denied a penalty. Well, there was
Excuse
penalty
just
shouts.
for a second. It sounds very much like AFCON.
It,
45
it,
plus
it, it,
10,
did,
you
it
know,
did feel a little
penalty.
bit like AFCON, yeah. So you had a penalty shout from Inter under 23, and the game went on. The referee waved it off and said, nothing in that. Then Virtus Verona went up the other end to score, but the referee sent off Caligares or something like that, but the goal still stood. I was very confused about. If you guys see the highlights, you'll know what I mean. It was very confusing. And then only for the referee to basically like take his whole decision back and give Inter the penalty. So anything that happened afterwards was irrelevant. And it was Cinque Grano, I believe, who won the penalty for that Lagumina goal. Who obviously he scored the penalty. He's been very good recently and solid on
Yeah.
pens as well. So he was the one that tucked the penalty away. And then there's pretty much like nothing else happened for the rest of the game. It was just like second half kind of slow, but I did manage to catch a little bit of it. Plus, obviously the highlights. So yeah, it was good to see, and good to see that yeah, the under 23 are back on some sort of streak, I guess we could say, right? I feel like, we kind of need to be a little bit careful, but you kind of want to cement yourself in that, like, in those playoff spots. So it's definitely
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, I mean, once we started recording again after our holidays, they've been winning. So it's
Has to
us.
be us. It's us.
Really, it's us. Yeah.
Realistically.
So yeah, long may it continue.
Yeah.
But yeah, and we'll move on to the senior squad, which like I said earlier, recording right after the Champions League game. Um, I think we should get into this one first, and then we can move on to last
Yeah.
weekend's
Let's end on a
game.
high. I think that's a good shout.
Yeah,
I just want to start quickly because I don't have much to say about today. Um, the only thing I want to say is that it just seemed like very half-hearted again today. Like, even the goal wasn't like there was no what's the word I'm looking for? Every action felt like half-hearted. It felt like it wasn't concrete enough. Like
Yeah, that
There was
that goal
no
almost seemed
intention
lucky
behind
as
it.
well.
It did. I'm watching the replay to that goal. The pass should have come to the right way before. Then it eventually does get to Thuram. He does makes a mess of it. Somehow it falls to Sutric. I've even forgot how it fell to Sutric. Great goal. Don't get me wrong. Great shot, great technique to put that in the top right like that. But it wasn't like well crafted, if you know what I mean. Like there's
Yeah.
luck that happens
Yeah.
beforehand that leads to the goal, and that's my problem. Like if we're not lucky there, then it ends. Then we lose 3-0 instead of 3-1. You know, and it's one of
Yeah.
those ones like it's not. Even if we win 1-0, I'm coming away from that. Yeah, I'm happy, but we know that's not gonna work against other teams because we're not always gonna get that lucky. You know what I mean? Like I'm looking at like it's just and then those goals by Arsenal again, it's just poor. Like we know that corner. Like I need to be careful what I say on podcasts, right? But like the words I use to describe Arsenal's corner tactics and what they do and whatever. But you know which words I'm using, right? In terms of what Arteta does, their set piece coach, whatever, right? That they made a flipping mural for in North London. It's like we knew that this was going to be the case, right? But the fact that like we literally fell for it on that second goal, and then the third goal is whatever, right? Like just
Yeah,
countered us, whatever. Even though that was also poor defending, but
they
it's
do this
it's it's
American football type movement crap on their set pieces as well, and then
yeah,
honestly, like they bully and push and don't let goalkeepers move in their box. I feel like that's against the rules of the game, and they just get away with it because there's no
yeah,
direct contact with the goalkeeper. But it's like if he moves, he hits somebody,
yeah.
right?
It's theoretically okay, but in practice, there's a lot that's wrong with it, in my personal opinion. I don't know how much against the rules it actually is, but it's just not ethical. Let's say that. I think that's the word I'm looking for. But
Yeah, but like,
we,
so say we have a taller goalkeeper, he goes up to punch the ball above any of these
yeah,
players, right? If they go to head it, it's a foul on them, right? Because you've got to give the goalkeeper space to do his action because he has every right to go up and punch for a ball, right?
yeah.
I think it was what's his name, Spanish, Marino,
Subimendi.
Mikel
Oh,
Marino,
Marino, yeah.
um, came barging in the box. Sommer punched it. Half a second later, he's shoulder checking Sommer off his line, like into the goal.
Yeah.
That,
We know
that's
what they're
that's
doing.
the type of step. Yeah, they do. They know exactly what they're doing.
We
But Sommer
know
can't
we
do
know that they
anything
were
else
gonna
other
come
than
like
that.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, like the it's not like I'm complaining about it because we were anticipating this beforehand, right? We knew that Arsenal were gonna come play like this. So all we could do is try and bypass it by playing even better ourselves. And that's just not happening. Like I said, like the chance creation was not concrete at all. No determination about attacking patterns in our game. Again, goal was lucky. Um, yeah, just felt very half-hearted again. And I know, like, we know first of all we know that 15 points will probably like 99% not be enough to get into the top eight.
Yeah, that 15 points before any game is played is like a 6 or 72% chance of qualifying. But now I think after the results from today, it's going to be even lower for 15 points to be a top 8 result.
There's no way. So we have those extra two games, and also like I don't know. I feel like just felt very off today in terms of the whole
Yeah.
performance, and I don't know what you
And
have to say about the performance, but I
that's
think we're on
and
the same
so
page.
before I go on to that, yeah, I am kind of on the same page. Fair play to Arsenal in their set pieces, right?
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
you're teetering the line of the laws of the game. If no one stops you, no one stops you, right?
yeah. It's not pretty, but it
Why
works.
why give
Like
up
fair enough.
something because they let you yeah, because they let you do it.
Yeah, yeah,
So, fair play there, right? And so that was, that goal I think really gave them their win. Of course, it's the winning goal, but I mean like they can
yeah.
set up shop after that, right? And we all know the parking the bus that Arteta does. Um, and yeah, it was just he Yeah, it's frustrating. My thing from what I've seen is I love our players a lot of the time. And of course, when it comes to if I'm comparing against what Italian clubs can get and can purchase, I think that we have quality players. But my problem is that these players are not the quality that excuse me, that we say that they are, right? I just don't I don't see our squad as a top 5 team in Europe like we've been screaming about for the last 3 to 5 years. I think we're fighting for top 10 squad in Europe, which is not
Yeah, I think we
bad,
need to be honest
but like
about that. Yeah.
this is yeah, this is that result. This is what you get. If you're a top 10 team in Europe, I mean, what Manchester City finished 20th in the group stage or the league phase last season, right? Doesn't mean that they're a bad squad. It's just like, yeah, you didn't perform well. Your quality's not showing. And I think that was epitomized by Lautaro and Thuram's finishing today, but then also some of their touches. Like Lautaro in the first 10 minutes tried to run over the ball because DiMarco passed it, trying to lead him, but it was going to go underneath him. It hits his back heel, like it hits the back of his heel, and it just sits there for
It just
Arsenal to
seemed a
take.
bit
Give it a
amateur-ish.
chance.
Also, where that touch that Lautaro had in the where he missed the first attempt of shooting, and then on the
Hmm.
like when the ball fell back to him, he tried to take a touch down, but I did not understand what the purpose of a touch was supposed to be because two Arsenal players were like he could see them as well, were running into him from the back, and then Trossard eventually obviously he kicked Trossard instead of like controlling his touch well. Why are you
Yeah,
not with that second chance? The ball falls back to you after you completely mishit the first chance of shooting. Why do you not shoot the second time as
yeah,
well? And you try and take a touch. Where's that touch? What is that touch going to set you up for? Absolutely nothing because Raya's going to come out and claim it, or the defender that's already there is going to clear it. Some of the decisions I just didn't understand. I don't want to talk about it for too long because we know like it was just not good enough. But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So that was just the one thing that I feel like I noticed and I wanted to say. So,
yeah. I say we move
um,
on to
but
the Udinese game because that was a lot more positive, I would say, in terms, at least in terms of the result. It was a solid performance. It wasn't like a dirty win like
yeah,
against
it
Lecce, in
was.
my opinion.
Hmm.
So
Absolutely, I
that
agree with
that's
you
how I feel about
100%.
it, and a great goal too.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, geez, the pass by Zielinski, the layoff by Pio, and the roll by Lautaro. He kind of, his namesake, El Toro, kind of bull in a china shop, kind of kept it under his feet and shot it in between, between the defender's legs. It was kind of funny, just typical Lautaro. But it still was a beautiful move. I mean, his
Yeah,
touch to kind of set himself up for the goal as well. It was just beautiful, beautiful 10 seconds. It was awesome. And then, yeah, the rest of the game felt comfortable. It was definitely not the Lecce game where I was terrified that they would equalize. I didn't feel like Udinese was going to equalize at any point in this game.
yeah.
Um, and you can kind of see why the performances in the league have been better because of what Akanji said in
I
between
should
the
have brought that
Udinese
quote up.
game.
Wait, yeah, let me get it up, guys. You can keep.
Yeah, yeah. Um, between the two games, before the Champions League, I think it was in the press conference, and then he got asked out on the training pitch, maybe as well.
Yeah,
Um, but it's
no, we couldn't find it. No.
like that's huge, and that's what I was screaming for last year, right? Of course, when you get the opportunity to dream, you dream, but you don't lose sight of responsibilities. And I believe in Italy, you got the quote.
No, no, we didn't actually tweet it, but I know what you're talking
Okay.
about because we didn't have the time to do the
Yeah.
press
So
conference.
Kanji says that our priority, Inter's priority, is the Scudetto, as it should be every year,
Yeah,
right? Look at any of the Champions League winners over the last, 15 years at all. If you're not domestically dominant, you don't compete for the Champions League, right?
yeah.
So yes, we've been second a couple times, and all of the teams, like everyone except I think Chelsea, was either multi-year in a row league winners: Bayern, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Manchester City, PSG. Like these teams completely owning and dominating their
Established,
league.
yeah, completely
Yeah.
like at the top, yeah.
And why do they do that? Because then that pressure is lifted off of you of like trying to win your league and balance something else, but they can win it and then come into the Champions League and play freely, really. I mean, especially for Inter, we're not going to be ones expected to win. And so I have been shouting for that. And I think it's a good thing that we have prioritized the Scudetto this season. And if we
And then other
continue to do
things will
that,
come to fruition from that.
mhm,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
Because players are going to want to come to the champions, right? Juventus did it for 9 years. Every Italian in the country that came out during those 9 years wanted to play for Juve because they wanted to win the Scudetto, right? And that's what's
Yeah.
going to happen with Inter if we dominate. But right now, I mean, it's great that the league is competitive, but that doesn't mean Juve didn't run away with the league every year. They had
Yeah.
competition,
Yeah.
you know, not as much, but still it was there. They had Roma and Napoli every year, one of the two of them. So
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
still made
it's
that interesting. And yeah,
yeah. But still,
I'm glad that we got the win.
It's good. Exactly. It's good that the Serie A is at least like that's why I'm not totally like sad about today because we know that the Scudetto is the main thing. So yeah, again, and they gave him the choice to answer between Scudetto and Champions League. And I think that says a lot. So yeah, guys,
Yeah.
but let's move on to the actual point of the podcast as per usual. I do want to start with a pre-match quote from President Marotta, who said about the January transfer market is poor, basically. So he said in Italian, povera, which basically means like there's nothing to do, nothing going on. Like it's just poor. Arcilio and Bacin are always scouting, but at the moment there are no opportunities to increase the quality of the squad. Let's see what happens in these coming days, but there's no urgency to intervene. Now, make of that what you want, but to me it sounds like, except like youth players slash under 23 players, I don't think there's going to be anything that we're going to have to report over the next 14 days. So yeah, I mean, just confirming what we kind of suspected anyway, especially over the last few days, because of, Denzel Dumfries potentially coming back earlier, obviously the Joao Cancelo deal falling through, and then nothing else really presenting itself, which, this is a media trained answer as per usual, but I actually think there's not been a great like amount of players that we can look at and say, okay, this would actually make sense. You can, because it doesn't just
Yeah.
need to improve the quality like he said, but it also needs to make sense. And I think that's something that he's not saying here, but it's very important to mention, which I think he would agree with me as well. So
Yeah. And
yeah,
they're always thinking about not only the numbers, the financial numbers, but also the squad numbers. So they're always
yeah,
thinking about that. And so they're not going to want to add players just to add players, but we'll see.
exactly. Because like
Um,
no one's leaving, right? Except even if David Fates is leaving, you can push Andy Diouf back into midfield because Dumfries is recovering. So if anything, or you can even push up an under 23 player. Like, what's the harm behind it? Like we're making these things like we have an
that's what our
isolated
midfield
squad.
bench should be.
We don't. We literally don't. We don't have an isolated squad anymore because
Mhm.
we've bridged that gap between the Primavera and the main squad. So even if we do sell a Fatesi, which I still think we should, and I don't think we should bring anyone in to replace, because there's plenty of players, Bovo, Berenbruch, Topalovic, Kamate, that can fill that role and instantly slot into against a mid or low table Serie A side and not look out of place in the team. I'm 100% convinced. I know we talked about the Bovo stuff before. Like, imagine Bovo came in against whoever it was back then that we were talking about. Like, it's not crazy to do that. So yeah, I even feel I will get to it, but I still feel like we should sell Davide Frattesi and then eventually, hopefully, um, yeah, we'll get the money for him in one way or another. But that's another topic. I do want to move on to incomings before I talk about outgoings. There's been rumors about Ivan Perisic, who would love to return to Inter, and Inter would also like him, but there's PSV that are standing in the way. Also, because they have two Champions League matches left. I don't know if they played today, actually. I don't know. They might be playing tomorrow because Ajax played today.
Mhm.
So, yeah, PSV play against Newcastle away tomorrow. So they have two more difficult Champions League games left. And it's literally just up to them to decide, which basically means that it's a code. It's in a difficult situation right now. Discussions are cold, as per Fabrizio Romano. So I don't give this much hope personally. I don't know if you would like to bring him back or not, but yeah, I'm not
I'm
really
generally
interested.
against returns for players, but if it's like a loan, it's not
Yeah,
exactly the
like
same
that's the
thing
only
as a
thing,
return.
but I don't think PSV would be up for a loan. I don't. It doesn't make sense to them and to
Yeah,
Inter. So, well, to Inter makes a little bit more sense, but not to PSV.
yeah.
Um, Guys, a player we've been talking about is Branimir Mladic, who was supposed to be like the deal was basically done in these past 2 days, or I want to say like at the end of last week, pretty much after we recorded or around those days. I don't know how much we mentioned about it, but it looked to be pretty much done. I think it was when around the time when
Yeah,
we
we
recorded,
thought it was done
and ever
last
since,
week.
yeah, we were talking about it, and then ever since it's been like a stalemate again because his father has again his father, right? Speaking of those type of deals, we had that with Samatic, of course. Him and his father and his entourage in general. First of all, they signed to a new agent, Ramadani, who's like renowned for I think a lot of Balkan players. And yeah, the deal has practically collapsed. That's what Matteo Moretto said yesterday, or no, 2 days ago, sorry. So he is not convinced by the project and is looking for something different in the future. Specifically, and I don't have this pulled up in the tweet here, but specifically because the plan is apparently, right, this was some sources that confirmed this, is that they were going to leave him out at Hajduk Split on loan until June slash the summer, and then loan him to Lugano in the Swiss league for another year. Now, mind you, this is someone who already plays like consistently for Hajduk Split in the Croatian league. The Croatian league is not bad. It's not a bad league. I'm not saying it's as good
No.
as the Swiss league, but it's not far off from the Swiss league. You know, I think you can somewhat compare them. So for him to go to Hajduk Split for another 6 months and then go to the Swiss league for a year, both like he knows that he's not ready for Inter, and he said that as well. But like for the first squad, and he knows that. But to do all of that and then to only play at Inter, even not even confirmed, just potentially play at Inter in the 2027-28 season, I don't think he would be that down for that. So I understand. And then there's been teams that have shown interest, such as Udinese and Como and Dortmund as well. We didn't tweet that because we didn't feel like it was necessary to tweet, but Dortmund are also interested. They've also started talks with his entourage. And then tonight or this evening, we had some news coming in from Di Marzio again that Inter is actually continuing to work on a deal for Branimir Mladic and has scheduled a meeting with his new agent next week to try and reach an agreement. So you kind of just a waiting game. It kind of feels like sorry, I'm not even trying to tweet. It just kind of feels like a waiting game. Like unless the deal's completely off, I feel like we should keep an eye out. But the fact that it was super close last week was also kind of weird compared to where we are now. If you get what I
Yeah, I
mean.
think I mean I understand Inter's frustration when it comes to the agent change,
Yeah.
and then like family getting involved and Samodzic 2.0, blah blah blah, all that stuff. Um, but yeah, um, Ramadani or Ramadani?
Ramadani.
Okay. Um, yeah, my understanding is that he represents a lot of Balkan players, and does well to try and advise them on the best moves for their career. And
Right.
um, so he's not going to force them into big money moves immediately, um, because I mean, probably there's some selfishness of like, oh, you can get a bigger move later, and that's where I'll make my money. But nah, like I get it on their part, you know. Do you want to be loaned around for a year and a half before you can come into the first team? Um, but we'll see. Like Inter's going to be down two more center backs come the summer. So he'll get a shot in the summer to see what he can do, just like Pio did.
Yeah, for sure. There's one that well, I don't know how relevant this is for the first team. We'll see. But there's one centre back that has already signed, which is Leon Jakirovic. And we had a here we go from Fabrizio yesterday. Now, he joined from Dinamo Zagreb. We already talked about him last week. And obviously, Salzburg are also interested. And the numbers are something like 2.5 million plus 2 million in add-ons, plus a sell-on clause, which we'll get into in a second. And then, yeah, he'll stay with under 23 side for now. So he'll join straight away. So he'll join in January, but he'll play for the under 23 side, which is good.
Yeah.
And well, it will be interesting because under 23 side has a lot of centre backs. You know, Recekoni, you have Prestia, the experienced guy. You have Maye, you have Alexio, you have a few players really that come to mind in terms of like it's a decently stacked defense. So he's joining them. Will be some good competition. And then if we look at this tweet right here, so this was the original tweet. So he'll arrive this week for his medical, and Inter beat Salzburg to the transfer because the player has the same agent as Petr Sucic, who obviously also came from Dinamo Zagreb. And then Nicola Schira was reporting that the sell-on clause is 15%. And shout out to Fabrizio Romano, who said that it's actually less than 15%. Gave us a nice little ratio right there, 1K likes. Or Schira actually, you know, it's not aimed towards us. But yeah, interesting to note that the sell-on clause isn't actually that big. But I also don't feel like hopefully it doesn't come into play. Hopefully it works out for him at Inter and we never have to think about the sell-on clause much in the next few years. So yeah. That's something to consider. I don't know how much research you've done on him. I don't know if you've like had a look at him, but any thoughts on the
I
signing?
have. He's a tall ball playing center back.
Yeah.
So, and he's left-footed. So, I made the comparison that he is a Croatian Bastoni region.
Okay.
So,
This is optimistic, but I like it.
um, just in profile, we'll see how he does defending, but he likes to be on the ball. He likes to pass. A lot of the comps that I was watching of him was him passing and him on the ball. I didn't get to see much defending. So, yeah, we'll see. He's 17 years old. He's mainly been playing, I believe, with Dinamo Zagreb's Primavera squad, their U19 team. Um,
Yeah.
so a U23 is actually going to be a step up for him.
Probably also next
So
season still on 23, if we're being honest. Or maybe
yeah,
alone, but we'll see how he plays these next 6 months.
yeah. So yeah, it's good. I've heard that a lot of Croatia's excited about him. So, you know, they've been producing some center backs recently, so it's interesting.
Yeah, I
But we'll
like the
see.
Croatian
See what
theme
he
we have
turns
going
into.
on too. Yeah,
Mhm.
I think we're developing a nice little Petr Sucic as well. He'll have someone that he knows, I'm guessing, or
Yeah.
you know, can talk to in training and get advice from and stuff, learn Italian and stuff. So yeah, it's good. And then we have another confirmed signing, which literally just came in today. The It was at literally like 5-6 p.m. Inter has signed Mahdi Mahlout. I'm probably butchering that. I'm not the best with North African names. But he is a French winger that has signed a deal until 2028. He came from Aubagne, which is like a lower division. I don't actually know what division they're in. I think they might be in the second or third division of
I have
France.
no
But
idea.
yeah, so talented winger that has signed. He's still 16, born 2009. I'm old as hell. Uh, so
That's not a real year.
he's
That's not a year for people to be born in. Nah,
yeah,
don't say that to me.
people that are born in 2009 are still 11 to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, here he is pictured. Shout out to Fabio Lampi, always keeping us up with the Primavera / Under 23 news. Yeah, another winger. Hopefully he can dribble. Hopefully
Interesting.
he can do some one-on-ones.
Yeah.
That's
Poor
the
kid.
only
I'll
hope I
never see
have.
the
Yeah,
senior squad. Don't think I've seen a
exactly.
senior like a winger
Yeah.
make it to our senior squad.
No, even like guys like I'm Zuin, the Moroccan guy we have, is never seeing the first squad. Let's be real, unless Kivu does exactly what the tweet says here. By Tutosport, implement the 3-4-2-1. I think that's his dream. Which is why Oaktree is considering the major transfer we talked about last week, if you remember. The star player to boost the club's, what was it called again? The club's like Media, yeah,
Commercialization, their
commercial, yeah,
brand.
whatever the word they used for the Americanized terms or whatever.
Mhm.
Basically, they want to have a star player with a big name. I don't know. Like, okay, they're great players, but I don't know. Apart from Arda Güler, maybe for Turkish fans, I don't see how Nico Paz or Franco Mastantuono would be a big name signing. That's just talent. Okay, they're already very well established, but I thought when I think of a big name signing, I think of the likes of Nico Williams, like the stuff we heard where they apparently tried to ask for Nico Williams, and then Oaktree said like saw the numbers of how much he would cost, and they said hell no. So I was thinking more a player like that, not necessarily a talent. Plus, we've been linked with Nico Paz and Adagula before, so this is not even anything new. I don't I don't see this happening at all, guys. I'm not gonna lie. Like this star player talk. Do you really think Oaktree will dig this deep? I don't think they do. And so,
I think they
especially when
do
they
if
see
we
the
sell.
wages, yeah.
Yeah, we'd
But
have to sell.
but still so far away. If anything, it's gonna be like an August thing. I'm not gonna lie, because if
Yeah.
we have to sell first, we know it's gonna drag on again. Then you have to get rid of some players that maybe a little bit harder to get rid of, and then we know how this goes. So I'm not personally giving this a lot of chance,
I'm with
but
you.
it's there. The news are there, guys. So to make of it what you want again. Then today, shout out to Luca Bendoni as per usual. We will try to get him on one of these episodes. If you're listening, Luca, you already know. Always welcome to jump on. We have an exclusive from him that Inter has made contact with the entourage of Dibu Martinez, so Emi Martinez from Aston Villa, of a potential summer move. Now, there was a lot of people screaming about Gyökeres' goal today, the third goal for Arsenal, where someone once again got a hand to it, but not enough. And some people are saying he's washed, some people are saying he's just too short. So these goalkeeper rumors, I feel like are going to keep coming, especially also because we're not too sure if Josep Martinez is actually going to take over or what's going to happen. The goalkeeper spot is still very open, so this is interesting. We'll see. We'll see how this develops, but these are probably like initial contacts, I'm guessing. And so, yeah, I don't know. Would you take him?
Um, considering what we have, yeah.
Yeah, bit of shithousery.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we are Argentina, right? So we already have that Argentine connection. I'll
Mm-hmm.
take the Argentine shithousery for sure.
Yeah, I think it would be a good link up with Lautaro. Definitely would be good. So
Mm.
we'll have to wait and see. But look, I'm not saying I like him, but it would be funny to see him in our goal. I don't know how I'd feel about it, but we'll have to wait and see.
I know that
Uh
he would thrive in the Milan derby and the Derby d'Italia.
oh yes, yes, yes.
Oh
He
my
would
goodness,
him
like he
against
would
Vlahovic
thrive.
would be pure cinema, bro. That is
Yeah.
something that I
Yeah.
would love to see. Him against Vlahovic would
He
be
could even
great.
concede 3 and it would still be absolute
And it
cinema.
would yeah, it would still be great. But hopefully he doesn't. Guys,
Yeah.
in terms of Christian Aslani, there's not really much to talk about except that Paris seem to be the team that's most like closely monitoring him, as per Foot Mercato. So, still expected to leave Torino this month. Inter would be in favor of a permanent sale. Excuse me, which is interesting because initially, obviously, he had a buy option or a very difficult obligation with Torino, one of the two. I forgot.
Mm.
And then the plan was initially, or it was initially said that the plan is to just loan him out for another 6 months and then see in the summer what to do with him, kind of thing. But this is interesting, is that they're saying that Inter would be in favor of a permanent sale. So maybe something's changed, or maybe they just want to like get rid of him once and for all. Which, sorry, that sounds kind of bad, but you know what I mean. And then in Italy, there's interest still from Cagliari, Genoa, and Bologna, while clubs in Turkey and Germany have also expressed interest. So Turkey and Germany is new. I wonder what clubs there are, but obviously, inquiring about him is always something like that happens a lot. But
Yeah.
maybe Paris might be the club, even though he doesn't want to go abroad. So I don't know how true that might be. I know you're rolling your eyes, but like at some point he's gonna have to be okay with that, right? Like
Yeah.
kind of
It's
branching
not
out
like
and saying, okay, I can't just stay in Italy. Like I get it. He only speaks Italian. He doesn't speak English at all. So like I get it. But still.
yeah, you're not helping yourself just staying here.
Go
You're
out and
gonna
see the
turn
world,
into
man.
another lone monster.
Yeah,
just never
like
getting to play for Inter again. But fine,
yeah,
whatever.
it's kind of the same for Thomas Palacios, who has rejected everything that is coming his way. Basically, he's still not fully fit. He was in the final training for the Champions League game, so he's like, oh, he's partially training. I think one of the two. I think Kivo said something, and yeah, he's still rejecting every offer. It has nothing to do with the injury that he's still recovering from. And according to Simone Tonya, if he continues to reject everything, he'll be demoted to Inter under 23, which is pretty funny, right? Because Leon Jakirovic is
Good.
probably going to start over him. So
Yep.
don't know what the plan is really for in his head. I don't know. I don't know for how long he'll be able to keep doing this until they just terminate his contract. But yeah, I think we can conclude that this was definitely not the smartest signing after these
Yeah.
like however many like 2 seasons now almost 18
Yep.
months. Yeah. But so much on Thomas Palacios. And then that was everything for transfer news, guys. I just want to show you the fourth kit that has been released in collaboration with ACG, which is like Nike's like winter brand, I think, or sub brand for winter clothing. I'm not sure if that's
Yeah,
correct.
it's winter clothing. I don't know if they're one of Nike's sub brands, but they collaborated on this for
Either way,
sure.
it's a collab, yeah. So the Nike
Yeah.
logo has been replaced by their logo, and they shot it
Mhm.
like in the mountains. They even had a promotional like ACG cup in the snow. I don't know if you saw it on Instagram, but they posted a little reel, and then it was Luis Figo and Julio Cesar were like in the mountains somewhere in Italy, and they played like a little game in the middle of the snow, like just on a snowy pitch, like just straight up with spikes in the snow. So very interesting,
Interesting. Yeah.
and
Cool.
just a little promotional thing, which looked pretty cool actually. I would have loved to play in that. So this is apparently also, so we had the away kit with the snowflakes, obviously, that we know, the white one. Apparently this kit is also inspired by the Winter Olympics, obviously being like having the photo shooting in the mountain and everything. And they also have a winter collection, which looks, in my opinion, because this kit, in my opinion, is not nice. I wouldn't wear this. I don't know about you. I'm rating it like a 3 out of 10.
I mean, the long sleeve I would wear as a shirt, not as a kit.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
Um,
But
yeah,
what I will say
I'd give it
is
like a 5 out of 10.
yeah, okay, that's what I was expecting. What I will say, guys, if you want to check out the actual winter collection, they have some fleece, like a fleece hoodie and like some fleece sweatpants. Those are actually very, very nice, and I would cop them if I had the money for it. So the collection in general is nice. The kit, not so much. What I do like is this goalkeeper kit, guys. This reminds me a lot of this is very like niche, right? But Südtirol's third kit from last season, which also has like a snowy slash mountain pattern on it. Very, very sick. I like this a lot. This ice kind
Yeah.
of like glacier vibe to it. This
No,
is very sick.
I would
If
get this. I
if
would
this was
buy this
short
and I would wear
sleeve,
it.
I would literally buy this like straight away. So yeah, this was a very nice. Like, guys, let us know in the comments what you think of these kits slash what you would rate them. But I think those are really cool. At least this goalkeeper kit. So yeah, that's everything from me. I don't know if there's anything else you want to mention for to close
Yeah,
off
I
the
have it
episode.
on the script. I don't know if you wanna say something just briefly, um,
Yeah, I
because that
mean,
happened since our last stream.
oh yeah, Friday. So on Friday, I think it was Friday night or Thursday night. I don't remember correctly, but our condolences go out to Fiorentina, who lost their president Rocco Commisso. They held a minute of silence ahead of every Serie A game. So yeah, sending love to Fiorentina and the football club
Absolutely.
for that happening. And
Yeah, and as frustrating as he was, I'm sure all of us mentioned it at some point when it came to negotiations with Fiorentina, but he was a huge
yeah,
advocate for the league and for Italian
yeah,
football.
exactly. Yeah,
And that's how I think that he should be remembered.
yeah,
Because of the modernization that he did for Fiorentina, and actually getting that stadium starting to be fixed up, the Viola Park. Like, this is stuff that Italian clubs aren't able to do, and yeah,
yeah,
he was a huge advocate for the league, and so he is a huge loss not only for Fiorentina, of course, first and foremost, but I believe, for all of Italian football. So, yeah, condolences and prayers, thoughts and prayers go out to his family and to the Fiorentina family.
Yeah, I feel like it'll be a good thing when the stadium's actually done to kind of remember that, he was the one that got this kick started. And people are laughing at the construction now. I've seen some tweets, but this is good. This is good stuff for Italy, good stuff for the league, good stuff for Fiorentina, obviously. So yeah, I feel like that's how he'll be remembered. But yeah, do you want to talk about the upcoming games that we have?
Yeah, yeah, just a quick um, roundup of all the games. I'm going to go in reverse order today, um, because the first game that we have this weekend is the senior squad. So in
True.
3 days' time, Inter plays Pisa Friday night. So of course
Yeah,
it's
literally less than
the
72 hours.
evening time.
Yeah,
It is the yeah, that evening time frame, that last game of the day time frame. So playing Pisa, it's a huge 3 points. So once again, I feel like we're saying this every week, but it's huge 3 points because go look at who Milan, Juve, and Napoli and Roma are playing this weekend. All four of them are playing one of the other. And so it's another
yeah,
great opportunity to separate from them before we have to play them.
yeah. And
Um,
we play first, so we have to we can put
mhm.
pressure on those teams, so they have to go at they have to go at it with each other.
Yeah, yeah. So um, all fingers crossed for that Pisa game on Friday. Quick turnaround, hopefully to see some rotation and a good performance. And then next Wednesday, 5 days later, so a little bit more rest there, we will be traveling to Germany to play Borussia Dortmund. Um, yeah, in our final Champions League match.
Yeah.
Um, and
So 5 days
hoping
of
that
break.
hoping that
Yeah.
things go our way and we can maybe sneak into eighth place, even though it's unlikely. Um, The next team, U23 team, only has one game this upcoming week, and it's against second placed Lecco. 1-0 loss against them the first time we played them. So hopefully we can turn that around and get a positive result, either a draw or a win. That would be good growth by the guys. The derby, the Primavera has a Derby della Madonnina on Saturday. Um,
Oh,
and the U23 team, their game is Monday evening.
yes.
So um so we have a Friday, we have a Monday,
8:30 CET,
mhm,
just so you know.
um and then the Primavera is a Milan derby Saturday at 1 p.m. Is it 1 p.m.? I think it's 1 p.m. Central European time. Let me check that real quick. Da, 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 da. Yes, it is 1 p.m. European Central European time. Um, and then so need a reverse of results there, hopefully to get a win against them after the two losses this past week. And then the women's team has two games this week. Um, after this recording. So tomorrow, so by the time this is released, it will be before their game. They play Ternana tomorrow in the Coppa Italia,
Okay.
the women's Coppa Italia. That is 6 p.m. Central European time. And then they play Como this Sunday, 3 p.m. Central European time. So,
Nice.
yeah, two opportunities for wins starting off the new year right for them. So, that is all of the games in the next week.
Thank you, bro. Thank you as
Thank
per
you, Miguel.
usual for the wrap up. And yeah, guys, as per usual, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment, and if you're listening, of course, make sure you give us a good rating. And yeah, tweet at us, comment, whatever you want to see on the podcast, if you want to see anyone on the podcast, or just any questions, anything you want to talk about, let us know. But yeah, it's been another, again, disappointing end to this week that we've had ever since the Lecce game. But yeah, again, still going
Yeah,
strong in Serie A, and I feel like it'll be it'll be good to keep that going, at least in the league. So yeah.
yeah. And so just two things to add to the end of all of that. Um, less than 500 followers away from 70K.
Thank you. Yeah.
So on Twitter. So let's try and get to there. Want to get to that as soon as possible. It'd be great to have that 7-0. And then again, Thomas is really trying to work on the Instagram page. And go follow us there on Instagram. We'd really thank you guys for doing that and engaging with us that way. So, yeah, and if that's it, thank you all for staying with us. And as always, Forza Inter Sempre.